What's going on, guys? Welcome to an episode of Dime Dropper that will be open to the floor if people want to join. But for those watching or listening after it has occurred, after it's been recorded, I'm going to be doing a football or a soccer episode in this one. And I don't do many of them, but I figured since I did do Copa America content in the beginning of the tournament, why not have some concluding thoughts, especially with both finals being so dramatic and good and exciting on Sunday. So I will be opening up the floor to people if they want to jump in, but I'm just going to keep on going to start and give my thoughts on it. This shouldn't be too long of an episode, but yeah, let's start with the Euro final. And I just want to say, for someone who wasn't there, the Euro Cup again was just amazing to watch. Super exciting, awesome crowds. And after 2021 didn't have crowds like till the very end, it was just amazing to see these incredible fan bases of these countries decked out in one color at these stadiums. I mean, it was truly just amazing. And again, just such a great feeling to have fans back. Amazing tournament. But as for the final, for people that don't know, my aunt and cousin live in London. So England is the only team besides Iran and USA that I really root for these days in the sense that I have any relation to them. And so I wanted it to come home. The thing is, I didn't expect it to come home. It's kind of like England at this point is like, I compared him to the Knicks. Alexi Lawless likes comparing him to the Dallas Cowboys. And I didn't disagree with that comparison. I compared the English national team to the Knicks because they have this expectation to be great, but they never actually win things. They won things way, way long ago. And they get so much hate because their fans are super loud and obnoxious and will hype up everything 10 times what they actually are. And people just despise them for that. And they love seeing them lose. But I'll tell you what, I think they got some of the most passionate fans in the world, England and New York Knicks. So that's where I relate them. I just never felt like England was going to win this tournament just based off of the way that they were playing. There was a storyline where it's like they just keep finding a moment of magic, a moment of brilliance every single late game situation. But I don't feel as though they strike me as a team. And it's not because of the talent, but the way that they played, like they're going to win a major tournament. And in the game literally was exactly like I expected the final. Spain was going to dominate the ball. England was going to wait for their opportunities. There were portions of the game, mainly after Cole Palmer scored the goal. And by the way, I mean, as a Chelsea fan, how great was that final? Cole Palmer scores the goal, and Cucurella has the championship-winning assist. I mean, it does not get better for someone like me in that regard. So I was leaving with something as a Chelsea fan. But man, that Cole Palmer goal, cold is so cold. I mean, the guy is. I'm excited for next season, but we'll see. We need better guys around Cole Palmer if we're talking Chelsea. The point is, that was just the only stretch of the game to me where England looked like they were coming on. They were looking threatening for real. Other than that, it was just like most finals are played, fairly conservative. Spain, though, was in charge, and they just looked like the best team all tournament. So for me, there's not much you can say if you're England. Like, yeah, Kyle Walker could have done better on both those goals. And it sucks to see Kyle Walker be at fault for things because for me, I remember when I was rooting for England when they had John Glenson at right back. And I know I know what his actual name was, but and he was just good going forward. Going in defense, he was poor. And like the fact that we're criticizing Kyle Walker in a final, like at least we're criticizing him in a final. I don't mean to sound like a LeBron fan, but for those that don't know, giving participation trophies out. But the fact that we're talking about and analyzing English players making mistakes in the final as opposed to the group stage or the round of 16 versus Iceland, stuff like that. I mean, Kyle Walker's been a part of this. I think Kyle Walker was even one of the better players in that 2016 Euro Cup in France when everybody shot the bed, and he was one of the only decent spots of the team. So, yeah, Kyle Walker didn't have the best final. I don't think it's any indictment of Kyle Walker as a player. I saw on Twitter a bunch of idiotic Liverpool fans. So I see now the basketball, like the toxic side of football Twitter, of international football Twitter, like basketball Twitter. The Liverpool fans posting their agendas talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold should have been playing. Look, I like Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's amazing going forward. He's special on set pieces, but he would have gotten exposed, torched. Like I mean, defensively, You do not start him over Kyle Walker. He's not a better player than Kyle Walker to me. So, no, I don't agree with that at all. It just was a rough outing for Kyle in the game. He got caught going forward on the goals. But I'll tell you this, England didn't deserve to win for me. They weren't the better side. Spain was the best team the whole tournament. And one thing I've learned about these international tournaments since I've started watching them back in 2006 is great midfields are what win. You look at the Spanish dynasty and from 08 to 2012, they had the greatest midfield, one of the great midfields we've ever seen in the sport. With Xavi, Iniesta, Sergio Busquets, and Xabi Alonso. You go to that German team in 2014, Toni Kroos, Sami Khedira, Mesut Ozil, Bastian Schweinsteiger. I mean, come on. They commanded games. Now, the France team in 2018, Blaise Matuidi, N'Golo Kante, and Paul Pogba. All of them playing at the top of their game. Matuidi was even playing a little out of position, playing as a left center mid, even though he was used to playing more of a defensive-minded role in his club situations, his club career. That was impressive. And then you talk about the Argentinian team now, and we'll talk about them a little bit later, but they're a different type of midfield. They're not one that dominates possession, is super creative, getting assists and creating goals, but they're just a really hardworking group, physical, tough, can make a nice pass here and there, but they really are just mentally and physically aggressive and solid technical players as well. I mean, Rodrigo de Paul, we'll get into that later, but him, Enzo, Alexis McAllister, these guys have really come on strong for them. But when we talk about Spain, Fabian Ruiz, Rodri, and then what's his name? I'm forgetting. Dani Olmo replacing Pedri. These guys bossed it, man. The whole tournament. And then they had an incredible play out of their wings. We know as Chelsea fans, we know that Alvaro Morata is not all that when it comes to finishing. I mean, clearly he has more leadership skills than I realized, but he does not have the clinical finishing ability to me to rely on him to win anything serious. And they did just win something serious with him starting up front. But Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal, these guys were the standouts for me. And I totally agree with Rodri winning the player of the tournament. I think he's legitimately like a top 5 player in the world. You see it week in, week out for Man City and what he's done, how great he is technically, how great he is tackling. I mean, just always in the right place at the right time. He's an amazing, amazing player. But I knew how good Rodri was because I watched Man City. Even though my Locked On Clippers commitments have really hurt my viewing of club soccer throughout the year, I get to watch the beginning of the season and see how great Rodri is. So Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, I knew about Inaki Williams, but I didn't know, his younger brother. I didn't know how good he really was. These two guys and Fabian Ruiz, they really, really impressed me. They were constantly a threat when it comes to Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, constantly a threat out wide, creating goals throughout the tournament. And Spain it felt like they were really back, like possessing the ball, great passages of play, playing the beautiful game. So they deserve to win this to me. If you want to get mad at England, I think you got to look at, let's look at it from this game from an England perspective. Another game where Harry Kane just went missing. But the thing is, I've seen Harry Kane play since the beginning, since he broke out in 2014-15. There's plenty of games throughout his career where you can frequently say Harry Kane's not doing shit. And then it forces Harry Kane to drop really, really deep to come get the ball, and he'll make a pass out wide or something. But that's been the story with him. He's not a guy that makes a bunch of runs. He's not super active. He's an incredible goal scorer and a very technically sound player. But to me, he's not really like a – is it a bad take to say he's not a true match winner? Doesn't come on and change the game single-handedly at times and create something out of nothing. I know he's a number 9. He needs service and all that, but it's just too quiet. It's just too quiet up there for me. And he was just very average the whole tournament, to put it nicely. I think he was poor, for being real, but he still got some goals, which is his job. And Wayne Rooney, for how great of a player he was in England international tournaments, he did not score goals, and that pissed me off. If you want to look, we need to also look at the team, right? If you look at the team, the English team, they have had the most stacked team, or one of the most stacked teams, top 3, I'd say, the last 3 tournaments. So since World Cup 2018, I would think. No. World Cup 2018, maybe not. I would say since Euro 2020. Since Euro 2020, these last 3 tournaments, they've had a top 3 stacked team in the tournament. They have a bunch of guys that are in great form for their clubs, playing just super talented players. And to be fair, they've made it to the quarterfinals of 4 consecutive tournaments. They've made it to the semifinal in 3 of them, final in 2 of them. So despite all the criticism of Southgate, the players that have fallen short, they have produced in terms of actually going deep as opposed to the teams right before. So I got to give them that. It's a very interesting conversation, though, when it comes to Southgate, because anytime you're in any sport that you feel like as a fan base or as a collective analyzing the game that you are not getting the most out of a certain group of talent, then you got to question who's managing that talent. So then it comes down to the Gareth Southgate conversation, which everybody's had for so many years now. And look, the honest truth is Southgate has really produced. He's really produced, but the team plays dead footy. They don't play exciting. They don't dominate. They don't seem to get the most out of their attacking talent because the talent for England is not in defense. I mean, Kyle Walker's amazing, but you got guys like, I know, again, I'm going to keep saying, I know he didn't play well in the final, but Kyle Walker's all time. I've been watching him consistently basically his entire career. The dude is great. Anyone that says he's just pace, complete hater. That's nonsense. He's done it for club and country consistently. But, John Stones, I think John Stones is very good when healthy, but you got a guy like Mark Gahey, he doesn't have that much experience. You put in, Luke Shaw is a very solid player too. He's always injured. But for me, the stars come in attack. Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka. These are the guys. I mean, Declan Rice. They have great players all the way around, if you see what I'm saying. But in attack, they're really special. And it feels like the team, you don't see those great passages of attacking play, those great stretches of domination in tournaments. I mean, I will say this. They played really well in Qatar. They actually had a really great tournament, England, the way they played. But this tournament, they had one great half against Netherlands, the first half. Other than that, very underwhelming. Lots of moments where you're like, where's the mid? Is Jude Bellingham playing in a number 10 role and a center attacking mid role? Or is he going to, come dictate the play deeper in midfield? Because it really feels like England were missing someone that's going to come deep, dictate the play, want to get the ball, and start attacking, sequences. But it just felt like Jude Bellingham is so far up the pitch. Same with Phil Foden. It feels like they're kind of clashing. Nobody on the left-hand side. Nobody. No attacking threat, no wing on the left-hand side. Phil Foden's drifting out right, which is what he tends to do all that. But you have Bukayo Saka playing out there. So it's almost like congestion there. So that was, I thought, tough to battle. And it's funny because, the England fans keep saying that Phil Foden's on fire the whole tournament. And he's anything but on fire. And I like Phil Foden. I think he's amazing. On Man City, he's incredible. But, I'm not just saying that he's great because of Man City and because of Pep and the talent around him. But the talent in Man City makes everyone look better. Apparently, except Rodri. But Rodri actually has talent on Spain, too. You got to give the manager credit for Spain. Was it De La Puente or is it De La Fuente? Let me see. Luis De La Fuente. Okay. But seriously, I don't know. Rodri maybe just be the best player on that team right now. He was the most indispensable player for Man City this year. You saw that stretch when he was injured. They were not the same at all. And they had stretches with Haaland out. They had stretches with De Bruyne out. But Rodri is the glue. Now, as far as as my final thoughts on Southgate, it's really hard to say sack him and fire him because he has produced, but it's just, you just don't feel like this England team is being maximized. And I feel like until you watch a tournament and you're like, God, England is deadly. Their attack is great. They're scoring a bunch of goals. They're getting the most out of their talent. Then that's when we'll feel like maybe it is coming home. It just didn't feel like it was really coming home this time, in my opinion. It felt like a stretch. They got to the final. I'm like, yeah, it's 50-50, but I never felt like it was 50-50. I felt like it was 80-20. And that shouldn't be the way I feel. The talent disparity there's no talent disparity. England is stacked out the ass. So I don't know. I feel like when England finally brings it home, if they do in my lifetime, and I really hope they do, because I want to see that country actually explode. They love the game, man. They really do. And by the way, I am going to be going to England very soon. So you're going to get vlogs from England of certain club games. And trust me when I say you're never going to see anything like this for an American channel. I promise you. The diversity of games that I'm going to, it's going to be crazy. You got to tune into that. If you guys want, I can post some vlogs of the Premier League games I went to in 2019. I went to Man City Liverpool, a game that literally changed the complexion of the league title race. I literally was at the game. It was the loudest and most special sporting event I've ever been to. I think that game, even more special than the World Cup. I think Man City Liverpool and probably Clippers Jazz, the curse breaker game. Those are the most special sporting events I've ever been to live. And Clippers Spurs game 7. Those three, those are my top. But as far as Southgate, I mean, I'm still not answering the question. I wouldn't sack him, honestly. I really wouldn't. I just think the players got to figure something out. I think Southgate may just have to make a tough decision and potentially not start Phil Foden. I mean, they've got plenty of time before the next World Cup. They have World Cup qualifying to test it out. But what's tough about World Cup qualifiers and international breaks in the middle of the season is that, you have guys on different form, in different form getting called up. It's not the same consistent squad. Although a lot of these guys are mainstays in the team. But you have guys that are injured because it's the middle of the season. But I think as if you're Southgate, what you have to do is you have to try to find a way to maximize. Like the problem is they play these shitty teams in UEFA qualifying, and it just gives, it's not the same as the tournaments. But like if you can't, they didn't even look good against Slovakia. Like they didn't even look good against freaking Slovakia or Serbia or Slovenia. They were not good. It's a lot of where's Jude Bellingham? Where's Harry Kane? Are they touching the ball? You're not getting Bukayo Saka in any sort of like, it's just kind of against set defenses, like low blocks and all that. It's almost like in basketball when you're not ever in transition. You don't ever have numbers. Saka's not getting to run at a defense that's like on their heels and anything like that. He gets the ball out wide. They basically send 2 people around him. He doesn't really get to do his magic, and he still was able to score that incredible goal against Switzerland. But I mean, I think he was okay in the tournament. Foden and Kane were so disappointing. I think Jude, besides that bicycle kick and that first goal, he was wildly disappointing. I think he had a solid final, but I don't know, man. To me, England in midfield just looked a little pedestrian, and they didn't deserve to win this tournament. And as for Spain, I think I really underestimated their ability to win this because I was just not. It was one of those the Shaq meme. I just wasn't familiar with your game. Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, these guys were incredible. They earned it. And I think the defense of Spain was really solid. And as much as I don't like him, Dani Carvajal, he's really one of the best fullbacks of this generation. He's won literally everything. I saw a stat that he's 6 for 6 or 7 for 7 in major European finals. So, I don't like Real Madrid, but Dani Carvajal, he's done amazing things. So congratulations to Spain. The question is this just going to be this one-off Spain team? Or is this Spain being back and maybe going to start a nice little run, maybe compete for, go deep in tournaments for the foreseeable future? I think it might be. I really think it might be. I mean, Lamine Yamal being 17 is actually fucking outrageous. I really don't. I just can't believe it. I mean, I thought it was insane when Raheem Sterling was on the England team starting at 19. Kobe Mainu, who I didn't think was that great in the final. John Stones, by the way, was amazing in the final. I want to give him a shout out. But Kobe Mainu, he had a very good tournament. 19 years old, doing this on the world stage. 17 years old, Lamine Yamal, best young player in the tournament, well-deserved. Nico Williams, it'll be interesting to see what he does at the club level, where he ends up going, because that guy is an absolute stud. And then we know about, look at the age of these guys. Carvajal, he'll be 34 when the World Cup comes to America, so will he be involved? I don't know. That Mikel Merino guy, I wonder if he gets a big move after, he plays for Real Sociedad right now, but that goal against Germany is going to go down in history. Then Morata will be 33. It would be nice if they can get a replacement for Morata, but hey, we'll see. Fabian Ruiz is 28. He's in his prime. He'll be 30 at the next World Cup, at the World Cup here in America. He is great. He had an insane tournament. That's another player I have to give a shout out to. I was not quite familiar with his game because he's on PSG right now, and I have not had time to watch PSG. Napoli for 4 years. I didn't really get to watch Napoli consistently when I was in college, so only so much you could watch. Danny Olmo, that's a player who I'm also interested to see. Where's he going to go? He's on Leipzig right now. He's 26. He definitely should play for some of the biggest clubs in the world. This guy's a beast. So I also thought that Zubimendi guy did really well when he came on for Rodri in the game because Rodri got injured. But Rodri's smack dab in his prime too. 27 years old. Nico Williams is 21. I mean, dude, Lamine Yamal. Damn, Cucurella is literally my age. He's a couple days older than me. That's interesting. He looks so much older than me. By the way, Cucurella, I mean, for all the shit we give him at Chelsea, he had a really good tournament. Championship winning assist. He just had a really good tournament. Let's see. Anything else on them? How is Pedri born? I mean, Lamine Yamal born in 2007. How are athletes that are doing good things born in 2007? I don't understand. But anyway, let's talk about. So, congrats to Spain. They're back officially. I've seen Spain win 3 of the 5 Euro Cups I've watched. Dude, England needed to win in that last Euro Cup at home. How much better of a chance are you going to get against the team that you're clearly superior to on paper? You are in your own backyard at your home stadium, and you score and go up 1-0 with 89 minutes and change left in the game. I mean, how did they blow that one? That was it. It's like insane. It's insane to me that England and like they've had losing in 2 straight Euro finals is so brutal. It's so brutal, but it amazes me that they were able to actually get another chance to be in the final. I don't know if they're going to get one again for a while because it's so hard when you get to these tournament finals. They're every 4 years. So much can change in a couple of years. The fact that they've been able to make this run is amazing, but it's like the opposite of Spain's run in the early 2010s and late 2000s. You know, they went to 2 straight Euro finals and won both. England went to 2 straight Euro finals and lost both, which is right on brand for the English national team, and still not coming home yet. 1966 to 2026. We're talking 60-year difference when we get to the end. And they'll have a great chance to win the World Cup in America. They will. But we'll see how it goes. Now let's talk about Argentina, the world champions, starting a little dynasty of their own. I don't think they're anywhere close to that Spain team. No way. But, I mean, this is amazing what they've done. Great final against Colombia, who honestly played better than them, in my opinion. But it was getting to that point where 0-0. It was super sad to see Messi come off and get hurt. But 0-0, who's going to take this? We just want to see a goal. I don't want to see it go to penalties. And what a pass by Giovanni Lo Celso. And the man who's been on fire all year long, had an awful World Cup, but has been insane in this Copa America. And he scored in the vlog that we have here on this channel, Lautaro Martinez. I mean, solid finish, to say the least. Took his chance. And it was just, at this point, it was like whoever scores deserves to win. Colombia had played very well, and Argentina wasn't impressive. But this Argentina team, their resilience, their ability to just find a way now, they've made it a science. You know, they've really found it. This Scaloni team, since that Copa America in 2021, they've started something special. You know, I still remember the days when it was, man, Argentina has an amazing attack, but other than that, they're average. Oh, I mean, they got to stop starting Higuain. Aguero just doesn't play enough. I remember all these conversations. What are we going to do with Paulo Dybala? Can he play with Messi? I mean, it felt like Messi was never going to win an international trophy. The fact that after that 2016 Copa America Centenario here in America, when he cried walking off the field at MetLife Stadium and announced that he was retiring from Argentina, that he would ever not just win a World Cup, but win 3 straight major tournaments with the country at his age. And it's a testament to how good Messi still is. The fact that he can still play at such a high level has given him more opportunities to win these tournaments and compete for these tournaments. And with Scaloni, who has changed everything, that's another big thing that they lacked, was a manager consistently. Every single new tournament, every single new manager. Every single time they had a new manager. Scaloni has become a legend. He has gotten the most out of this team. And some of these guys in the supporting cast that weren't that famous 5 years ago and now have put their names on the map. It's been a real recent run to glory for them. But they are now big names. They deserve a ton of credit. They all work super, super hard. And they don't, as I said, they don't play the most beautiful football. It's nothing like Spain. It's nothing like the dynasty of the Spanish team back in the day. They don't create a ton of chances throughout games, but they're so physical. They're so resilient. They don't really concede many goals, and they create just enough chances to get the job done, usually with Messi and Di Maria. Like they're essentially relying on old-ass Messi and Di Maria to create their chances for the most part. and they've gotten it done in 3 straight tournaments. But the guys like Emi Martinez, I mean, what can you say about how well he has played the last couple of years? Montiel, Lisandro Martinez, and then the midfielders. I mean, Rodrigo de Paul, he was insane. He was working his ass off. And he always does. He really does. He's a perfect Atletico Madrid player. And then, of course, my guy Enzo Fernandez. He didn't play as much in this tournament, but in the World Cup, he was great. That's why he got that big move to Chelsea and solid final. And Alexis McAllister, I mean, he was awesome in the World Cup. He was good for Brighton that season. Got the big money move to Liverpool. I mean, he's been amazing too. And then Julian Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez have just delivered enough goals between the two of them to get them where they want to get. And that is at the top of the mountain. Wow, man. It's amazing to see that Messi's really won 3 trophies for Argentina now at this point. Like, I really thought it was never going to happen. I remember when the Ronaldo fans were like, well, Ronaldo has a Euro Cup. Like, those arguments were always ridiculous to me. But congratulations to Argentina. Nobody wants to get on live, I guess. So I guess that we're going to end the episode there. But I want to conclude with this. The disparity between the quality of the 2 tournaments, and I'm not just talking about what I'm watching, because what I'm watching is, the quality of the European games are definitely better, cleaner, less fouls, less flopping, less theatrics when they get fouled. The Copa America and CONMEBOL did a fucking terrible job with this tournament. Terrible. Absolutely horrific. Like, from example, the game I went to was fine, but first of all, the tickets are too overpriced. The fact that you have USA games with 20,000 empty seats for our major tournament, more major than anything that we host outside of course, the World Cup, is insane. You've got to let families go to this game. If you want to grow this sport in this country, you've already made it a rich kid sport when it comes to playing it at the youth level. You got to make it a little bit more accessible to people. If you want, like, the fact that we're not selling out is a horrible look. Horrible look. Our own country's games. Brazil games aren't even selling out. You're only selling out Argentina games and basically Mexico games. It's insane to me. And then the pitch, the field, the fact that these guys are complaining about the field conditions, and you can see it looks different than the Euro Cup. It just feels like there's way less money put into it. The Asian Cup looks better when you watch it. It looks closer to a World Cup presentation-wise than Copa America. And Copa America is the second best continental tournament that there is. And you're telling me that they got to clean that shit up for the World Cup. I think they're just putting on grass over turf. That's never going to look good. You need straight grass. It's the World Cup. And there's too much money in the World Cup. They're never going to allow that to happen. But it wasn't a good look for the American stadiums, even though it's more on CONMEBOL. And then that fiasco yesterday that caused the game to be delayed. How are people sneaking in through vents? What's the security at this event? You've hosted Super Bowls at this stadium, and you're telling me this is a big deal? You can't host? I mean, you can't control it? Crazy. People are in danger. Awful, terrible tournament. There's just everything about it. The fact that there's no extra time too, by the way, and before the final, they got to get rid of that rule. That's fucking garbage. Like, Copa America is not a serious tournament compared to Asian Cup and the Euros. It's not serious. And it should be when you got players of Messi stature, the Brazilian national team. Come on. And even in South America, it doesn't look good. It doesn't. That's why they got it to America. They're like, shit, we can't just host it in fucking Brazil every year. So Copa America, I mean, I went to 2 games this time. And by the way, the parking at SoFi was $100. $100. That might be a SoFi thing. But, I mean, it was just bad. Bad. Like, the game in Atlanta was great. I had a great time. By the way, you can check out the videos of both games on my channel. Don't let those go to waste. By the way, I went to a World Cup. You can also check those out. If you're watching this video and actually listening to what I'm saying, I went to the World Cup and I had videos of it. And I had a Kendrick Lamar concert in the middle of all that. Crazy, I know. But, yeah, the Euros are so much better. But anyway, and nobody wants to join. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Tavencio, for bringing this up. I got to give Di Maria a shout out, man. That's the end for him, for his Argentina career. I love Angel Di Maria. I've seen him play twice live. One in a friendly before the 2010-11 season against the Galaxy as a member of Real Madrid. And then, of course, in Atlanta. Special seeing him play. I've always been a fan. Obviously, that his contributions to that Real Madrid team that won the league in 2012, and then the Champions League, where he was literally, to me, the man of the match in that 2014 Champions League against Atletico. he was amazing. I mean, just incredible. That World Cup, he was at his peak to me. He had that goal against Switzerland. That was amazing. But it was always felt like he had bad luck in the finals of those tournaments. He would always get injured in the final. And then finally, he got his moment. I mean, what was sad for me was his club career, to be honest. Like, he went to United. I hate Man United, so I was hoping that they'd lose. I'm sorry, I was hoping that it wouldn't work out for him. And you know what's interesting is I remember watching those first couple of games when Di Maria was at United, and he was actually amazing. But then he got injured, and they never really got to integrate back in the starting lineup. Never really got into Van Gaal's good graces again. And they had a bunch of, guys they were trying to bring in at the time. This is post Sir Alex Ferguson, and it was constantly revolving, and they couldn't really find their guys. That was when they had like Memphis Depay, Morgan Schneiderlin, Bastian Schweinsteiger. It was like a whole thing, and nothing really worked out for them. And then he went to PSG, and he had some really great years at PSG, but obviously it's PSG. You're not really getting tested every single week the same way you are as a member of Real Madrid or as in the Premier League. So it's kind of tough. Like, I mean, of course you have a chance to win the Champions League every year. It's still a huge club, but I don't know. I mean, Di Maria, you're just going to see him put up great stats, but you're not going to see him really prove himself as a player. But anyway, I mean, he's won. I mean, at that point, he had won the La Liga. He had won Champions League. He'd won Copa del Rey. I mean, he was probably like, I've won everything. I'm just going to do what I like to do. And he won everything at the national level too. And the fact that he scored that winning goal against Brazil in the Copa America 2021 was amazing. That was just so great to see. He got his World Cup, and he was a big part of everything still, even to his older days. So amazing career. I'm going to miss the guy. He was special, and we'll always tell the legend of Fideo. But as far as this question right here, who do you think is winning Ballon d'Or? By the way, I love that Juan Mata profile picture. Who do I think is winning Ballon d'Or? Jude has a case, but I think Rodri's better. I think Rodri should win, honestly, after this Euro Cup. I think he is amazing, truly. I mean, what do you want to say, Vinicius? Or if you want to combine national and club, I think Rodri's the answer. If you want to just go off club, maybe Rodri's not the answer because Real Madrid was so amazing this year. I honestly would give it to him. When was the last time we had a defensive mid-win? Phil? Yeah, I hope they get it all straight before the World Cup. There's some serious issues going on. But I appreciate everybody for listening. Let me know if you want to see me make more videos like this in the future. You're probably only going to get vlogs because right now I still don't have that football, the soccer, international football following. Torres Star says, I think Jude will win. We'll see. It'd be amazing if he wins at his age. I think Rodri's a lot better right now, though. Anyway, maybe a lot is a stretch. Better. Just because he's older. That's it for me in this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the two tournaments. Hope you enjoyed the coverage here. There wasn't much, but you got some Copa America games on the vlogs, so you're going to see some crazy footage of games before the NBA season starts, some vlogs in Europe and England. It's going to be crazy. But thank you so much. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the episode, if you want me to do more of these, and what you thought of the tournaments. Peace, and we're probably going to do a 4 Sportsman on Tuesday, by the way. First 4 Sportsman in a while for you basketball fans out there. Talking about all things basketball. Peace.